But Billy Hayes won't mind if we start with him. It's a real privilege to have him with us today. If I give him a brief introduction, most of you probably realise that Billy's with the Communication Workers Union. In 2001, he was elected as the General Secretary of the CWU. In 2011, the same year, he was re-elected for a third 5-year term as General Secretary. Billy was also elected as World President of Post and Logistics for UNI Global, the international trade union organisation. He also serves as Vice Chair of Trade Union Liaison Organisation, Vice Chair of the National Policy Forum of the Labour Party. Bill is a member of the TUC Executive Committee, TUC General Council, and is spokesperson for the TUC on Europe. So welcome, Billy.
Thanks very much. Thanks for making me seem like a very busy person. We've shared these are very hard times for all of us. Before I start, can I give apologies from Jonathan Ashworth, who said he could have been here today. I was speaking in Cologne, but unfortunately he's got a domestic, so we can't make this particular event, and I know a lot of people will know Jonathan. But first of all, thanks for the opportunity to speak here today. I'll start with an apology. I did have a prepared speech, and I've left it, I think, in the W.H. Smith's in Birmingham, New Street Station. So I've had to scribble up a bit of a speech, some things I want to say, obviously something for me to speak. The reason why I mention it, I also put my speeches on a blog I have, www.billyhayes.co.uk. So obviously the blog speech, which should be going around about now or sometime today, or Monday at the latest, probably may not be exactly what I'm going to say today. But the theme is the same, because the problems that we face are common to us all in terms of the particular problems that we face. And so the first thing is, one of the things I was going to deal with is some statistics, because I think, first of all, the job of socialists, as somebody once said, is to stare reality in the face, and then from the stare reality in the face, work out an appropriate response and a way of dealing with the particular problems that we face. And we're all here because we believe austerity is not working. We believe what's being invested upon the working people of this country is an outrage. And also, not only is it an outrage, is absolutely not necessary. But the narrative that people talk about nowadays, the narrative is, what actually happened, we splurged on public service, we splurged on the welfare state, and it led to a very big hangover. And that message is still being perpetuated now by the leading lights, whether they're Tory or even some sections of the Labour leadership. And I think that's a very, if you go into your workplace, that's a very kind of resonates with people. It sounds like, when you've maxed out your credit card, it's a consequence of that maxing out of your credit card. Of course, you wouldn't, and in terms of trying to run down debt, the national debt, it sounds convincing when you talk to ordinary people who maybe not active, maybe not looked at the figures in there in terms of what's taking place in our economy. Of course, you wouldn't have that kind of approach to your mortgage. If you have a mortgage, you wouldn't have the same approach in terms of trying to clear down your mortgage in such a short period of time in these last 5 years. But what's happened since the austerity, which you could see not working, the new tailoring, the new framing that's taking place, things are starting to pick up. Things are starting to pick up. The other side, we've got the slowest recovery in 100 years. The other side, the economy's only grown by 0.6%. Then people will now, the kind of narrative that certainly ran through the Tory and Lib Dem conferences Yes, we maxed out on the credit card. Yes, we've had to pull it, and there's been big cuts or cuts in people's living standards and that. Things are beginning to get better. And what better evidence than that? The economy, albeit slowly, is starting to recover. And we need some explanation of that, some analysis of why that's taking place. That's really been kept in the media. There hasn't been an increase in spending for the companies that currently hold £750 billion in their company accounts. So what accounts for this growth in the expansion of the economy? It's grown, the economy's grown by an additional 14.8 billion, and that is a direct result of government spending. Now, you won't hear this said in the media. Government spending has increased this year by something like 15.1%. It hasn't increased in terms of ordinary people, and that's one of the reasons why there's a bit of an uptake in the economy. Now, of course, in terms of living standards for ordinary people are what they were in 2008. You know, and cuts still continue. So there's a real problem there in terms of what it means in terms of living standards. And what we've just witnessed, certainly in the last week in particular, at Tory Party conference, in some ways, Ellen has just said, 80% of the cuts have yet to happen. This is all about shrinking the state and never let a crisis go by without doing something to shrink the state. That's what's coming out from the Tory Party and the Liberals all over that so-called orange group Liberals. It's about shrinking the state. And we know what kind of society that we can look forward to for Tories and the Liberals, or this is just a continuation of this coalition, leave aside the Tory majority government. We look forward to a society where the workhouse is back. Because that is really what was said at Tory Party conference this week. The goal is not to look after you or help to get through life in times of no work. The dole now is a favour almost from the government, and in return for that favour, you have to work for your dole. That to me is just a rewriting, just a reintroduction, 21st century version of the workhouse, where you have to work for your dole. And in respect of our kids, they're now talking about stopping the dole if kids won't work. So that's the kind of thing that we can look forward to. We witnessed, and I read somewhere the other day, that up to 100 people at least have complained about the coverage of the National Health Demonstration. You know, you had a lot of coverage of the Tory Party conference, but not about the fight back and the resistance to that. I imagine that some people there would have been on that particular demonstration. And, you know, 50,000, I mean, when they say 50,000, usually it was a bit bigger than 50,000, but no coverage whatsoever about the demonstration. And in this week, I'll come on to the privatisation of Royal Mail in a minute, we are now seeing the privatisation of the NHS. Because once you put the profit motive into care, you then start to manage the NHS. And there's a little, I noticed a little thing on Sky News that's taking place now. And just these little nuggets, these little tiny little bits of argument, popular argument. And one of them they had one the other week on ticker tape that goes along the bottom. Should people who are drunk, people who go to accidents and emergency as a result of being excessive alcohol, should they have to pay for their treatment? Now you can imagine the kind of arguments or the points being made in public. Time to time. Well, of course, you can picture the argument in a pub or club or home or in your workplace. Well, if somebody's gone out and got so drunk they've had an accident, well, maybe they should pay a little bit towards, or something towards their treatment. That is the beginning, like with the winter fuel allowance, that is the beginning of having to say that you have to pay for appointments to see your doctor and the like. That's kind of where we are in terms of thinking particularly in the media per se. So we're in a very dangerous time, and of course we welcome the establishment of the People's Assembly, because anything that can help build the resistance to this government and, you know, in the Labour Party. Anyone fighting, anyone struggling, CWU stand shoulder to shoulder with them and seek to push back, because we do live in very austere times. And if truth be told, you know, the level of fight back, you look at the history, if you look at the history of Strike Act, it's nothing like what we need in this particular time. So we have to look for bits where we can join together and take activity. And of course, for the CWU, the privatisation of the post office is a big issue. We're on the cusp now of shares being sold on the London Stock Exchange. We've been fighting privatisation for 21 years within the CWU. First we had the Heseltine attempt in 92-94, then we had the Patricia Hewitt joint venture attempt with TNT in Holland in 2001, then Alistair Darling in 2007, then of course the MS Trigrists himself, Lord Mandelson in 2009, and we defeated every single one of them. And not that I've read it from page to page, but if you ever come across in you know, the second-hand bookshop Mandelson's memoirs, The Third Man, not that I pay attention to it, but it's on page 210, he says this about the CWU. He said the CWU used every political trick in the brew to defeat him. And we did. We split the Parliamentary Labour Party, and we won that particular fight. I'll tell you why I mentioned that in a moment. But of course, with the coalition government, when the Act went, they got the majority. It was Vince Cable, for those who think he's some kind of lefty in some kind of way. It was Vince Cable's idea to privatise Royal Mail, split the post office counters, which is still in the public sector, from Royal Mail, which is unique. There's nowhere else on the planet where the retail arm is separated from the Royal, the delivery arm, the logistics arm, if you will. So, you know, we've got some concessions in terms of the bill, but we've been campaigning against it, and we haven't been able to defeat it. So we got in being able to stop the fact that they've got a parliamentary majority. But you know, 2 weeks ago in the Sunday Times, it said that 70% of the British public are against privatisation. And when you segment it down in terms of whether they be Liberal voters, whether Tory voters, there's still a majority opposed to the privatisation of Royal Mail. And we polled our own members. We asked them 4 questions. One was on some changes, which they supported the union position, 94%. One was on private companies delivering mail, that they supported us. And one was on the opposition to where you oppose to privatisation. 96% of our people oppose privatisation. And 99% of them said they wanted a pay rise. We're still searching for that 1% of our people that don't want a pay rise, but we may find here or here at some particular point. But here's a thing about the Tories that sometimes we, in the wider Labour movement, we've had members of post office councils on strike now for the best part of 12, I can't remember how many days it is now, to be honest with you, and they haven't been offered a pay rise, right? Our people in Royal Mail have been offered a pay rise. At the moment, it's about 8% over 3 years. It may go up to 10%. And we're currently balloting our members. Anyone got any idea why that is the case? That these people over here don't get offered a pay rise, and these people over here get offered a pay rise. Obviously, it's about buying off the opposition within Royal Mail, to our people in Royal Mail, to the privatisation. And they've been given £2,000 of free shares. Nobody's going to say no to free money, and the dividend payment is about £90. It's not exactly king or queen's ransom. So you know, we are now currently balloting our members on strike action, and we're confident on the impact of privatisation, because we're not going to sit back, privatised or not, and simply say, oh, because we're privatised, we won't fight. We're currently balloting our members, and on the 16th of October, we're confident that we'll get a massive yes vote for strike action. Now, we're saying to our comrades, Unite are not here at the moment, but Unite our managers in Royal Mail, small group of people, but their manager grades in post office counters again only about 800 people, but for the first time in 47 years, they balloted for strike action. Now, it takes a particular genius to get post office counter managers to vote for strike action, and that's what they've done. We want to try and get that kind of joint activity in Rome. So we have to start from where we are. We have to build. We can't. Somebody once said, I think it was Lenin, you have to be one step ahead of the working class, but only one step, and that's what we're trying to do. That's why we work with the People's Assembly or United Against Fascism, because every time one boat, all boats rise together, if you like to use a cliche. And can I just say, in finishing, I was elected as a national officer in 1992, the year the Tories got in unexpectedly, and those that remember it, it was a bit like a death in the family, as we all know, because we thought Labour were going to win, and they didn't. That year in Leicester, postal workers in Melton Mowbray, Astrid de la Rue, is that right? Whatever, Astrid de la Rouge, or whatever, it's kind of French sound. And Cobble went on strike, and in Melton Mowbray, right, they went on strike for 5 weeks in the run to Christmas. And it was the first national strike I ever dealt with, and they won. And it was an unexpected victory in some ways, because you would have said, oh, Tory government, this place in Melton Mowbray, famous for its pies, and CWU land is famous for their 5-week strike, that they won. So, I was going to say that in the open. So once again, nice to come here and obviously and consequently answer any questions, and thanks for having the opportunity to address you. So the speech won't sound like what's on the blog, but bear with me on that one. Thank you very much.